Hey guys, welcome to today's video. A lot of you guys have asked me about career and what my career was, what's my LinkedIn account, and etc. So I decided to make a whole video dedicated to that specific question. I'll also take you through the journey of my whole career and how I landed a job at PwC in detail. I will definitely be telling you guys the detail and the tea that's spilled along with it, so stay with me. I got a lot of tips to share. I'll give you a general picture of my career. After graduating high school, I received a job at Naver Snow, but I wasn't able to pursue that because of a personal issue and I had to leave the country. And then after my first semester and my first year of college, I got a job at VCNC. It's a startup. And after that, the next summer, at my second year of college, I got a job at Thai. And then the next summer, I got a job at BCG. And then the next winter, I got a job at Barrels, which is an automotive consulting company. And after another semester, my last semester, I received a full-time offer from PwC. So the main question is how I got my first job without any experience. Rewind back to my high school years while I was prepping for college. I did get into Yonsei University, and then I immediately started looking for jobs. I went to an international school, and international schools usually graduate after their IB exams, which was around May or August. I forgot the months. It's been a long time. And since Korean University officially starts during March, I had a lot of time before I went into college, right? I had a lot of months between that. I did enjoy my time of just not going to school. You know, I graduated high school and I was prepping for college, so I had a lot of time in between. I was like, you know what, let me enjoy my free time. But I'm not the type of person that's able to just enjoy their free time without doing anything productive or advance my career. I started looking for jobs and started applying. Mind you, without any experience. Naive little Jumi Bear started making her own portfolio, and I just put in everything I did in high school, my student council, or I did a musical film, so I just put that in too. I said I did a musical film, and just anything I did basically in high school, I just put it on my resume. I was still just a high school graduate, there's nothing to put in there. I didn't have any internship experience at all. And also at the time, I had an Instagram account that was at 1K followers. And back then, if you had a few K followers, that was actually really big. Because I think it was around 2018, 2019, that was when Instagram was just starting to get popular. So I even put that in on my resume. Isn't that kind of dumb? But I did put that in. I said I had an Instagram account that had 1K followers, and I did my own marketing. I did my own research on my own followers and how I could grow my Instagram account. So I put that in too. I didn't know what to look for, but I just applied mainly marketing jobs because of how everything I did was kind of related to marketing. At the time, I didn't expect anything, but this is a very important tip. This is the first tip I would give you guys. You shouldn't expect anything. Never show the interviewers that you're desperate for a job. Okay, you can be desperate for a job. We all are if we don't have a job, but never show that. Desperation can come off as an insecurity, a lack of confidence, a shift in power dynamics. So you won't be able to negotiate in your advantage. If you think, oh, what if they think I don't want this job because I'm not desperate enough for this job? No, enthusiasm is very different from desperation, and you gotta know how to distinguish between them. So yeah, this is a great tip, and if you get it, congratulations. If you don't, you can just move on to the next one. If you don't get the job, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that they're not looking for someone like you at that moment. It just wasn't the right timing, and all you can do is to learn from that experience what you could have done better and move on. Something really interesting happened to me every single time I lost my opportunity for a job that I really wanted to get into. So every single time that I lose an opportunity or get rejected by a firm that I really wanted to go to, something even better happens, like getting a much better opportunity at a more prestigious firm. So I like to think that failure and rejection is basically meant for you to receive something better in the future. So let's start talking about my career. So after high school, I did apply to 20 different places, and I got 2 interviews in total. One is Naver Snow. Can you believe it? I interviewed for the marketing department for Naver Snow It was huge back then. I mean, it still is, but I was only a high school graduate and they were gonna take me in, you know? This was also before going into college. This was honestly crazy to me because during the interview, they asked me a lot about my experiences in marketing, especially how I grew my Instagram account to 1K followers within like a few months. And they just asked me about my portfolio and what I did in high school and everything. So yeah, I was just really enthusiastic. I was, still naive. I got that energy in me. I got that dog in me. I'm kidding. So yeah, they asked me a lot about my portfolio and I answered everything. So that's how I got the job. But I wasn't able to pursue it because of personal reasons. So after I came back to Korea, I started applying for more places after my first year, my first semester. But I knew that without a job experience, I wasn't able to get anything. And I was more confident in my personality and myself and how I can deliver and communicate better within an interview environment. So I just needed to get past the application stage. But that was the problem for me because my application literally had nothing on it, basically. So every time I applied, I got rejected every single time. So I started cold emailing. If you guys don't know, it's basically sending an unsolicited email to somebody or, to the people that were working at a company. I looked up companies that I wanted to work at and I started emailing them with my resume and I started telling them in the email what I could deliver, what I could do for them, and that I'm willing to work without a pay. That was how enthusiastic I was about, getting a job. I would just straight up email companies help contact emails. Who does that? Who does that? I also went on LinkedIn. I went to search up people that work there and I started emailing them. This worked. I got 2 interviews from cold emailing. So one was basically a startup in Korea, which I didn't get. I got rejected. I was like, fuck that place. I'm kidding. What I did was write down what I could do better in my next round of interviews and reflected on it. Looking back at that interview that I totally blew, I felt like I was being so arrogant. I didn't know the line between arrogance and confidence. It's really difficult, but you have to practice how to be humble and confident at the same time. So insinuating that you're intelligent in an interview setting is really difficult without giving off that arrogant vibe. But with practice, I'm sure you'll be able to perfect it. So tip number 2, do not overestimate yourself. Don't think that just applying to 2 places is gonna suffice. Even if you're so smart, like you're a Harvard graduate, etc., you're wasting the potential opportunity to land a better job, or you're wasting your time to wait for that 2 result that could be a rejection. Personally, I think the best combination is knowing your own abilities. So yeah, once again, understand the difference between arrogance and confidence. Do not make the mistake that I made. Tip number 3, even if you don't want to go to a certain company, just apply for it. Just apply, just go to the interview. It really isn't that hard and it helps you practice. That's the most important thing. People pay for mock interviews. What are you doing? You can literally apply to a company and do the interview for free and get your practice out of that. And if you get it, you don't have to go, just reject it. And you can also take that acceptance and leverage it when you're doing your other interviews. Just say that, oh, I got accepted by this place, but I'm looking for better places, or you could leverage that when you're negotiating your pay. This is a great tip for students that are just starting to apply. So as I said, I got 2 interviews. One of them I got rejected, and then the second one, it wasn't an official interview. So I cold emailed this team leader from BCNC, and I told him I can work for you, I can work for free. And he replied to me, he was like, you know what, this is not an official interview, but I would like to take some time knowing you. He asked me for tea time, and I was like, yeah, sure, we can talk about it. We talked about what I could do if I actually did start working for them. But before I went, I literally wrote down everything I could offer to their team. I listed out everything I could do, what skills I could leverage, and what type of marketing problems that I could fix. So yeah, he unofficially interviewed me and he really liked me, my enthusiasm and everything. So he said he was gonna talk to their higher ups or their HR. Something really interesting is that they weren't hiring interns at the time. He told me, he was like, we don't hire interns at the time, so I think I'll have to talk to my team about it and talk to my HR about it. I was like, no problem. I am not in a rush. I have so much time. Isn't that crazy? He was willing to talk to the HR team for me to hire me as an intern when they weren't even hiring interns. You never know what you're gonna get if you don't ask for it. So just go for it. That's honestly my biggest tip I could give you guys. I never even expected a reply, a single reply when I started cold emailing. And that's great because if your expectations are low AF, you're just gonna continue applying without getting hurt that you got rejected. This is really important, but after the interview, I sent him an email. I said, oh, it was really nice that you accepted this unofficial interview and that we got the time to talk about the job opportunity, and telling him how nice it was to actually give me the opportunity to pitch myself to him. And I also wrote that even if I didn't get this job opportunity, it was a really great experience for me and I really appreciate the opportunity. So yeah, follow up with an email after your interviews, and that's really important because after I did officially get the job position, he told me that that email played a really big role in hiring me. The next summer, I leveraged my experiences at VCNC and started working for 제일펑타이. I leveraged my previous experiences and I told them what I could do. So I got the job and I worked for them for 6 months and I took a gap semester. The next summer, my brother suggested I look for a consulting job. At the time, I didn't even know what it was. Consulting? You consult a company to what? Maximize profit and minimize loss? I love that meme. Anyway, so I kept telling him like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get a job in consulting. Look at my experiences. Nothing relates to consulting. I didn't do anything related to consulting in my college, and there's way too many people that have better experiences than I do. So I felt so overwhelmed by just applying. Plus, I didn't even major in business. What could I expect, right? But then, what could I lose? What could I possibly lose? So I just started applying. 1 hour a day was enough for me to apply to multiple places. So I did that before the summer break. I started applying to multiple places. Then I got an interview with Macquarie Investment Group and I blew my interview. Super embarrassing. That was the most embarrassing interview that I've ever had. I realized that I wasn't prepared for any interviews. Of course I didn't get it. I didn't expect to get it either, but that's okay. I allocated another 1 to 2 hours every single day in studying and preparing myself for interviews, which was equity research and consulting positions at the time. It was so difficult because I literally didn't know what it was. I didn't know what they did. I was so lucky when I got the interview for BCG Consulting, Boston Consulting Group. To those of you that don't know, it's a consulting company and one of the big threes. It's a crazy, great, fantastic company. I'm saying I'm lucky because I didn't have a lot of consulting experiences back then, but they needed someone who could speak Chinese and had experiences in go-to-market strategies. How lucky was I at my previous experience at 제일펑타이? I got to work on a go-to-market strategy consulting project for a few weeks because there was a company that wanted to expand their business in China, but they didn't have anyone who could speak Chinese. So they asked me, which I was from a different team, but I got to work on that project, which I was able to leverage that experience during my BCG interview. My BCG internship was one of the hardest internships that I've ever had, but it toughened me up and I learned so much from it. It changed me as a person so much, and especially in the aspects of working. So if you're still young, I really recommend you work at a really demanding company just to learn from them, just to learn how to work and how to organize your working style. There's just so much to learn. You can't even fathom it. I couldn't even fathom it. And then the next winter, I took on a job at Barrows Consulting. It's a automotive consulting group. And then after that, I landed a job at PwC. Barrows was my last internship before I landed my job at PwC. Tip number 4. So after every single internships or every single project that you've done, please write down a portfolio or get a portfolio ready. Make a PPT or a Word document documenting out what you did and what your responsibilities were, what you learned from it, because after a few months, you're gonna forget what you did. And how are you gonna leverage that at your next job interview? You'll forget what you did, so update your portfolio if you can as many times as possible. I received an offer for both PwC and Deloitte, but after weighing the opportunities, I did go for PwC for many reasons, but it was a very difficult choice for me. But my current job in PwC suits me very well and I love my job here right now. Tip number 5, this is the last tip. Your first job determines who you are, so if you don't like it within a year, you have to leave. You have to go somewhere else, especially if that's not the industry that you want to stay in. And I'm saying within a year for a reason. A lot of companies would pick fresh graduates as first years rather than people who have already experienced 1 or 2 years at a different company or at a different industry. This is because fresh graduates are more malleable than people who've already worked at different industries before and already at different companies. So they're typically more moldable, eager to learn, have fresh perspectives, and are more willing to work for lower salaries. This is definitely not the case for everybody. It is most often than not the case, so keep that in mind. Let's say you worked in industry A, but you prefer industry B and you want to move to industry B. If you worked here for 1 or 2 years, you still would most likely have to apply to first year positions in industry B. So please keep that in mind. If you don't think that that company is suitable for you, you have to leave as soon as you feel that, especially if it's your first job. So this is also why I recommend doing a lot of internships. Okay, sure, doing a lot of internships does get you experience to get and land your full-time job, but most importantly, doing a lot of internships is for you. It's about you. It's a chance to see if you're a good fit for that industry or that particular job. Since I had 4 internships, 2 on marketing, 2 on consulting, I understood what I would be expecting to land my full-time job at, a consulting company. I know what it's like to work at a marketing company. This is really important because let's say you've always wanted to go to industry A and you never had an internship experience before. You land a full-time job in industry A, you'll never know what it's like to be in other industries. So if you do have an internship experience in industry B and industry A, then when you land your full-time job at industry A, you won't regret being in industry A because you have experienced industry B before and it wasn't a good fit for you. It helps you get over that what if. What if I was there? What if I was doing a different thing? So try to experience as much as possible when you're still young and when you're still able to experience different internships during your college years. So that's a wrap on my career for now, and I'm really excited of how my career pans out in the future. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you liked me, no, you don't have to like me, but please subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. If there's any other question that you have in mind pertaining to career, if not career, it doesn't have to be career. But yeah, if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I do look at all my comments. I love you guys so much. My community is honestly the best. I also have a Discord channel that's subscription based because I can't really manage too many people. So if you're interested, I put the link below. Anyways, thank you so much guys watching my video. I hope it was very helpful and interesting to watch. Bye guys. Hi, I changed seats for no reason. Anyway, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Or whatever. You know what? I'm gonna leave that.